Greetings, Leo, and welcome to your in-depth weekly festive horoscope for week commencing the 25th of December for the Sun or the Ascendant. As you go into this week, the Sun's in the practical 6th house for you, along with Pluto, which has been there for a very long time, all but that 11 weeks earlier this year. But it's linking to the ruler of the sign of Capricorn, which is Saturn. If you've really been industrious over the last few months, I think you can start to see the results building up as this year closes, but going through the first 3 months of 2024. Why is that? Well, Jupiter, the planet of good fortune, has been in your sector of success, but it has been retracing its steps in its retrograde for the last 4 months. This week it forges an amazing link to the Sun midweek, but it also goes direct as the week draws to a close, but it's also forging a super link to Saturn, and Saturn's in your sector of shared finance. So something that you have been really putting a lot of effort and energy into can start to show rewards over the next 3 months from the end of this week. So that's very exciting. So even if you come into this Christmas feeling a little bit weary from all the hard graft that you've been doing, know that you are developing something that can be very good for you. Now, Christmas Day itself has two standout influences. One's very sociable. The moon in your 11th house does go face to face with Mars in the 5th. If you're playing any party games, you could find that someone's just as competitive as you. Always interesting, those kind of situations. But there's also a very spiritual angle between Venus, the planet of affection, but also of money, of course. But in this context, I think on Christmas Day, very much about being with loved ones. And it's forging a very deep link to Neptune. This could make you feel very, very nostalgic. But also it can make you appreciative of the bonds you've got that really make your heart glow. So that's really lovely. Now, Wednesday's the full moon. Now, it's probably one of the trickiest full moons of the whole year for you, to be honest. Why would I say that? Christmas is supposed to be a very sociable time. Yes, but the Sun and also Pluto are in the part of your situation to do with sacrifice, hard work and attention to detail. The moon, however, by Wednesday is in the 12th house. And if all the chores and making sure that everyone's needs are met have taken a bit out of you, I think what this full moon could do is emphasize a sense of exhaustion. And if it does, don't beat yourself up about it. The reason for this is that the full moon for you is in house 12. This can bring up some very deep feelings, particularly to do with sensitivities, insecurities, perhaps even things that we don't really want to look at. Say, for example, there are parts of your life that aren't very perfect, 6th house, Sun and Pluto. It could start to seep into your consciousness, the moon in the 12th. And the moon in the 12th is very, very sensitive, the same as having the moon in the natal chart in Pisces. So just be aware of that. But Jupiter does influence both positions very helpfully. And Jupiter in that 10th house is saying to you that the industry you've put in, as I mentioned before, will bring you a return. But it's also important to know when to stop, to rest and recuperate. And if you don't have to go back to work straight away, do just give yourself a couple of days of just taking a breath, having a few sleeps, perhaps going for a walk in the countryside, spending time with some animals, with the Sun and also Pluto in the 6th house. That would be very, very gratifying. But on Wednesday, the relationship between Mercury and Mars in a very dynamic and expressive part of your situation, Sagittarius, they start to get into right angles with the dreamy, drifting Neptune. If part of the issue in your situation is that you feel that you do go the extra mile to support others, but you don't seem to get very much back, or not as much back as you could, I feel that at the second half of this week you may decide to repossess your energy and decide what you're going to do, and you're going to set the agenda. And with Venus moving into Sagittarius on Friday, I think that New Year's Eve could turn out to be a lot more sociable for you. But it may be that someone you're closely involved with doesn't like what you're setting up, could feel a bit jealous, a little bit pushed out. Maybe they feel that you're wanting time away from them, and maybe you're finding their possessiveness a bit clingy and difficult. So if there's any kind of dynamic around that, it could show itself at the end of this week. But I think you're going to see the new year in quite a spectacular way, to be honest, because with Mercury, Mars and Venus all together in the 5th house in Sagittarius, your sister fire sign, that can be very playful. It's just that the planning may change because of the retrograde with Mercury. So everything could be set up to do a particular thing, and then there may be a suggestion, and then it may end up with people going somewhere else, but you can still be part of it. But I feel that if there is a romantic relationship that you've just been wondering about recently, particularly if there is a lack of support on the domestic front, I think you're going to be determined to suit yourself a little bit more in the second half of this week. And you know what, Leo? Why not? If you've yet to check out your in-depth 2024 deep dive video, please see the link beneath this video. Also, if you've yet to order your personal astrology forecast for next year based on your unique birth data, check out my special offer below, where you get 30% off plus your character analysis. No two charts are the same, but also you get your free zodiac, Indian and Chinese forecast for all 12 signs for the whole of year 2024, absolutely free of charge.